Welcome to Contractor Cuts, where we cover the good, the bad, and the ugly of growing a successful contracting company.
Welcome back to Contractor Cuts. My name is Clark Turner.
I'm Jared Flo.
Thanks for joining us today.
Welcome back.
Today is our wrap-up from last week on subcontractors.
Subcontractors.
There's a lot to cover in subcontractors, how to manage them, maintain them, and all that stuff. You cover a lot in your videos. There's a 3-part video on our website right now. If you go to ProServeAlliance.com, up top, there's the education video or education button. You drop down from there, you go to videos. You can find all of our videos there.
All the series videos that we've got out there. Yeah.
But in what we're covering in the podcast today is kind of an overview as well as our experience with subcontractors. The first podcast last week, if you haven't listened, I'd say start there. Go back to that one. The first podcast was about how to find them, how to onboard them and bring them in and find the right subs. Today, we're going to cover maintaining them. How do you keep them happy, keep them on your team? How do you motivate them to work harder without being a tyrant? And then how do you exit, right? If it goes wrong, how do you fix that? What do you do? And how do you not lose a ton of money on a bad subcontractor?
Yep.
So overall on maintaining subs, the big 30,000-foot view of maintaining subcontractors for our company as a general contractor is one thing, our core values. Everything we do, hires, employees, subcontractors, how we treat the person ringing us up at the hardware store, everything comes down to our core values. I'm not going to go deep into it. The main point of our core values is we put people first, not money, not clients, not jobs. We put people first. Our core values, we do a deep dive. It's about an hour-long training on core values in our quarterly trainings.
Yep.
Love for you to be there. All of our contractors, actually, we give them our core values. It's a full spreadsheet. It's really cool. It's how we communicate, advocate, and lead our clients on our job sites and what that means.
They can take it verbatim. They can use it to create the bones of their own or whatever they want.
Yeah, we give them to you if you're a part of ProServe, if you're an Alliance partner, and you can have it. You can edit it. We walk you through what it means and how to utilize it in hiring people and growing your company using this as your filter. So that being said, if you want that, let us know. We'd love to give it to you. But our core value statement of putting people first is how we maintain our subcontractors as well.
Right.
So, Jared, how do you run a relationship with our subs through our core values to keep them long term? Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. Well, I think when I think through that, the big piece is how have we done it wrong in the past, and the mentality that I have had is that I need to just find somebody to get out there and do the work, use them as the tool that is what I use to make the money, to satisfy the client or whatever. And it's not giving them respect. It's not caring for them. It's just using them as a tool. And that's going to be a short-term relationship. It's not going to end up being a long-term relationship that way because they don't feel valued.
Yeah.
And if the only way that they're going to stay in that situation and feel valued is if I'm paying them copious amounts of money, and that's not how this works.
Yeah. Well,
right?
and the mindset of they're a tool to get this done minimizes them. For
That's right.
us, we view them. This is our product that I'm putting on the shelf. This is what people are buying from me. Now I'm organizing and I'm making sure it all happens, and the experience they're having of the garage sale metaphor or garage sale, the grocery store metaphor we use. Right. In our 2-day, the grocery store metaphor of this is their experience walking through my grocery store. They've got 1,000 people they can buy milk from within 5 miles from here. Why are they coming to my grocery store to buy my milk? Right. Well, that milk is the subcontractors. Mm-hmm. Those are the guys swinging the hammer, getting the work done on that people are actually buying and going home with and living with. So when you switch it from this is a tool to get my work done to this is my product. I'm not going to beat my bread up before putting it on the shelf. No. I'm not going to drag my milk through the mud before putting it on the shelf. I'm going to treat it well. And if I've got the supplier that's bringing me the milk and creating the milk, I'm going to treat them well and help them maybe get better milk. I'm going to teach them, listen, this is how you can serve us better, and we're going to sell more of your milk. Right. And so with that metaphor, what you're saying is absolutely right on. They're not a tool, right? They're part of this.
That's right. You
don't have a grocery store without it either.
No. And if I'm putting people first, then my mentality with subcontractors, we've stated in a couple different videos and podcasts that typically subcontractors are not great at building and growing a business. They just do what they do, and they don't know how to create structure and get better and more efficient. And so can I come in and by them being a part of our organization, can I actually make them better at what they do? Can I make them more efficient? Can I help them with their life? Whatever it is, any of that has a twofold meaning. One, like I'm doing good by this person and helping increase who they are and what they're doing, but that also reflects back onto the job site as well. I think there's a couple of things tangibly that we do to try and do that for our subcontractors. One of them is plain and simple. We've gone through a subcontractor agreement that processes through what can they expect from us and what we expect from them. Well, the things that they can expect from us, I got to follow through with that. Because the goal of this relationship, for it to become a long-term relationship, it has to have trust and loyalty. And the only way you get to that place is by following through with what you say you're going to do. If I said I'm going to pay you every Friday, I better pay you every Friday. So
setting those expectations up
that's
front.
right.
Well, and one thing we see from a lot that I don't understand when you step back and look at it, it makes sense when you're in it. But as a contractor, that we see from a lot of contractors is you would never have a client call you and say, hey, I need my kitchen redone. And you say, great, I'll be there Thursday with my demo equipment, and we're going to get in there and start demoing. Is that cool? You're going to take the time to understand what you're getting into, why you're getting into it, the relationship with that client, who that client is. I'm going to give you a bid. I'm going to talk through it. I'm going to do 75% of the work before we actually start demo in terms of prepping and ordering and doing all that. And that's what we're going to do with our client. But then these contractors say, okay, now I need a sub to come in and start doing the demo. Hey, I just met you. Are you available? Great, come do it. And there's no prep work, right?
Craigslist.
Yes.
Come over to my house.
Come do it. And so they don't know their expectations. They don't know what, when, and how they're going to get paid. You just say, hey, I pay every Friday. I'll pay you good money. I'll give you $200 a day. Well, what does $200 a day mean? What are you doing? How long of a day? Was it 8 hours? Is it, or am I allowed to take a lunch? There's so many things that people don't cover when on that side of it because it's, we'll figure that out as we go.
Well, and what you can guarantee is that if you do that, your job site is going to be ran the way that person is used to running.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not going to deliver the level of customer service that you committed to your client when you went through the client engagement letter. And so that's a big piece of it, that following through with what you say you're going to do, having those guidelines in place that give them a form of structure that they can rely on, they can feel comfortable in. And along with that, in our software, we've talked about before, a work order system. That work order system is a thing that's going to keep them from getting taken advantage of by the ancillary things that happen at the end of a job. But
holds their feet when they don't do something.
That's right.
And I told you I'd pay you $10,000, but that included the demo of this. That included this and this and this, and you didn't do those. Remember, you asked me to send someone else in, so I had to give them $1,000, and that's why I gave you a new work order last week for $9,000 because of that. And oh, that's right. Okay, that makes sense. As opposed to me standing there, and be like, yeah, I'll give you $10,000, so you'll go away, and now I just saved that money, right? And so the work order saves you and them on both sides. It protects your money and also protects them from being taken advantage of, which shows them that you care about them and that you're not going to take advantage because I've got a system that won't take advantage of you.
Right. And I mean, really, and there's a couple other things that I could talk about, but the real, at least the first part of this is about creating a reliable structure that they can feel comfortable in. When, if you're in a place that you don't know what's coming, you don't know when you're going to get paid, you don't know the next time that you could be taken advantage of, what to expect in the future. If you're in that place, I'm out. I don't want to be in that place. And so creating that level of structure around them gives them that comfort, which is really important to getting a guy who's willing to go long term with you. And the other things is I like to say when we're talking about the core values and putting people first, and the difference between a subcontractor being a tool versus somebody that I actually care about and I'm investing in, that investment's going to give me a return on my company, is looking for opportunities where I can care for this person on the job site. Most of the time when I go to a job site, All I'm looking at is the stuff that is wrong,
Yep.
not done,
Yep.
not good enough,
Yep.
missed. And so all they hear all day long is, you didn't do it enough, you didn't do it enough, you didn't do it enough, you need to do more work.
I'm not paying you.
That's right. And so looking for an opportunity to encourage them, be like, man, you really killed it with this. It's a little thing, and honestly, sometimes it's hard, especially when you're under the gun. Maybe you just got cussed out by a customer or whatever. But at the end of the day, looking for opportunities to invest in this person to get a return
Bring
on that
them
investment.
lunch, Yep.
You know, I mean, maybe you've got a guy who you can tell he's got a broken tool on the ground. He broke it on the job site, or it just doesn't work really well. If you have the opportunity and you're in the space that you can say, you know what, I'm going to go buy him a set of Ryobis or whatever, right?
Something cheap. It's not hard to do.
Something
Yep.
cheap, but that type of thing, when he's getting pinged by people every day to come to a place that the grass is greener, what keeps him there?
Yeah.
It's that, no, man, this guy is investing in me.
Yep.
This guy stepped into my life, saw something I needed, realized that he was only giving me work orders the day before the job, and it was really frustrating for me. So he changed it.
Yeah.
And he so that type of stuff affects the mindset of when they're looking to go somewhere else, that they go, I'm gonna stay here. I like these people. There's structure I can
Yep.
rely on, and I've got people that actually care about my well-being.
Now let me swing to the other side of that. We've had
Yeah.
contractors be taken advantage of by subs, right?
Uh-huh.
I need rent, I need an extra $900 this week, or I can't show up on Monday, right? And guys that have bleeding hearts for their subs because they're buddies or friends and they've been with them for 10 years, and I'm just going to cut them money and they'll get me back. The other side of this, the walking the fine line of taking care of them, giving them a tip, throw them $100 cash, all of that stuff is great. But you also can't let it swing to the other side where they take advantage of you.
Right.
And nobody, how do you do that? The answer for that, again, promoting our software, but our work orders and our pay system that we set up in the front end. We say, okay,
and the subcontractor agreement. Those three things paired
the
together.
front end, the subcontractor, you sit down and you say, listen, I mark off on Tuesday in my software the percentage you've been done. My client portal, my homeowner can see the percentage, not the amount, but the percentage I said you are done. So if I say you're 50% done and you just started today, the client is going to say, hey, we got some issues. I don't believe you're 50% done. So I can't pay you for 50% of the job today.
But I can't buy groceries, or I can't pay my rent. I need some more money.
Yeah, well, that happens not up front when I'm explaining this. That happens
Oh,
on
sure.
the job site, right? So up
Sure.
front I'm explaining. So on Tuesday when I walk the job, I can only pay you what you've been done,
That's right.
which is 10%, let's say today, and that's all I can pay you, or I'm at to explain to the client. Does that make sense? Yeah, that does. And so now it's Tuesday, and you're like, hey, I need food money. I paid my guys, and I got to get it. And so I can stand there on site and say, listen, I'm so sorry, but look, you haven't even started the paint. I can't throw $1,000 to you from the paint because it hasn't been started, and I'm going to be telling the client that we're done, and we can't do that. So I'm not the bad guy all of a sudden. Now the software's a bad guy, and I say, listen, I just can't do it. Hey, by the way, on Saturday and Sunday, you knew these rules. Were you here on the job site starting the paint, or were you at home on those days if you had to have this money this
Did you
week?
know your mortgage payment was due on Tuesday?
Did you know rent was coming? Did you know you needed food on Monday when you left here at 2? On Saturday and Sunday when you weren't here? And now on Tuesday, you're making it my problem?
Right.
Because you're not going to show up if you don't get paid. And bro, you can't do that to me, right? And so it helps you having this organized system, having the pre-conversations, having your work orders and your subcontractor agreement. It's not a lot of work to do this stuff. It's work to learn it and set it up in the beginning.
course, yeah.
We will walk you through it. It's super easy to do. But these things you get set up, and it allows you to have that conversation and not be taken advantage of. And the sub is also sitting there like, yeah, you're right. No, you're right. No, you're right. And now I'm not the bad guy, and they're still showing up. They're not
That's right.
walking off my job site because I'm like, I ain't paying you. It's not that conversation. It's I just can't because I've got accountability in the software.
Yep.
So that's the maintenance side. That's how we keep them happy. Keeping them busy, feeding them jobs is always the best. But more than that, treating them as humans.
Yep.
Treating them as part of our company. Treating them as this is our product. I want to take care of my product, and also going the extra mile for them.
Well, and we've got subcontractors that were invited to our company annual or 10-year reunion.
Yeah.
because they were part of the family.
Yep.
They've never been a W-2 paid employee.
Yeah.
10-year, I don't remember.
15,
Was it
whatever
15?
it was. Yeah. Company parties.
yeah, that's
Christmas
right.
parties and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's right, because they're a part of the team. They're a part of the family.
Yep.
Like they've been treated well. They treated us well. There was incredible loyalty. They've been with us for a long time. You're coming and hanging out with us.
I could spend $30 on dinner and drink.
Yeah.
That's no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're a part of it. So that's.
But we've fired a lot of crews.
Let's get into that. So it's going well. It's working. Obviously,
we don't do this perfectly every time.
The goal with crews is to have them long term.
Yeah.
If I realize the writing's on the wall, this crew is not long term for us. The ideal is to have the conversation. Listen, you're not enjoying this. I'm not really happy with the work. Can we get through this job? And I'm going to micromanage the job. I'm not going to tell them that, but can we get through the end of this? Can I get this from you?
And have a clean break.
By Tuesday, can this be done? And then by next Friday, this be done. I'll pay you that day. I'll walk away from it, and we both can go our own way and have a conversation about the next job.
It would be nice if it worked that way every time.
It would be nice. Often it doesn't, but sometimes that will work, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the ideal way to walk away from a sub, a happy separation. It's a mutual divorce, right?
That's right.
And so that's that conversation. If that's not the case, if I have a sub, he's halfway through painting my house, and I've called him 3 times, he hasn't shown up for 2 days straight, what happens, Jared? What do you do?
Well, at that point, lawyer up is not the right way to say it, but kind of you need to get your brain in the mode of, okay, this is going to get sticky if I'm not on top of the details.
Yep.
And it starts with communication.
Yep.
It starts with having a conversation and saying, if you can't get the guy to come back, he walked off your job or whatever happened was so egregious that, like, you got to go.
Yep.
You need to go into the job and document and
Pictures,
be incredibly
write up.
detailed so that, because by doing that, you're creating the ability to communicate very well.
Yep.
Every expectation, because the guy's going to expect, well, I did 100% of the paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got to go back and fix 90% of it.
Yep.
So you've got to go in and you've got to
prove your case. Well, and you said lawyer up, and the truth is we have 0 times in 15 and plus years hired a lawyer or gone to court with a sub. 0 times. But what we have to do.
I was talking more about the brain
exactly.
mentality.
You build
That's
the
right.
your brain clicks into the lawyer mentality to where I build a case so when they threaten legal, that I'm going to put a lien on your house, I've got this whole case against them already to where it knocks the legs out from underneath them, right? I've got picture documentation. I've got a write-up of what was wrong and how much it's going to cost to fix their errors and finish this job. I email that to them, and they know, okay, like I've got timestamp. I sent that to you last Tuesday. You still aren't showing up. If you don't show up by this date, I'm going to have to move on, right? What will happen if you don't? What will happen? What has to happen for you to continue with us?
Right.
Which all of that is great. You do all that, and that's never going to get a response from them.
Yeah, and the other hard thing is that this is also a people first situation too.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's people first from 3 points: my client, my company, and the subcontractor. And when the subcontractor is the point of agitation, it's very easy to unload that agitation on them. And the problem with that is there's 3 main things that can become a problem. They can, if you really treat somebody poorly, who knows? They may come back and vandalize the property.
Yeah, all the time.
Right.
Steal stuff. We have that all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or, they go online. I mean, everything's online, reviews and all that. They can go on and really trash you and all that stuff. Or they can go all the way to a legal place where they're going to go and they're going to threaten or actually put a lien on the property.
Yep.
And so the goal of trying to exit and keeping the mindset of people first, regardless of this guy did you wrong or whatever, trying to do it as kindly, I guess, that you're treating somebody with respect. It's like, this went badly, but I'm going to do it well so that I make sure that I'm fair to you, but as well as I've got to be fair to my company and I've got to get everything squared away for my client.
I don't remember last time we burnt a bridge with a sub. We treat them with kindness, but with justice, right? And with respect, and also fairness for everybody in the situation. So we get that list, the pictures, we send it to them and say, listen, Jared, if you're my sub, Jared, I want to keep working with you.
I
Obviously,
would never be that way.
You would
too.
never. Let's just do this.
Yeah.
You haven't showed up for 2 days. I'm now bringing another painter. Please, I'm letting you know you are not allowed on our job site again. I like to have you in the office so we can sit down and figure out what happened. Here's what's going to happen from here, Jared. I had $3,000 left to pay you. I'm looking at this. The work order for the guy replacing you is for at least $2,000. So I'm going to pay him $2,000 when it's done. If it only costs me $2,000 and there's no other issues that I have to solve of yours, I will give you the last $1,000.
Yep.
If I can't, if it costs me $4,000 to finish this, you're not getting paid anything. And I'm sorry, but that's what we got to do per our agreement that this is how we're exiting the job site. I love to sit down and talk to you about it, have a civil conversation in our office. And at that point, it's, you can't do that. You owe me $3,000. I'm putting a lien on the property, right?
Yep.
That's how it always goes. And so what we do, there's a couple of things. Every state's different, but we in Georgia and in most states, you can bond out of a lien, and so that just means you get a bond on the lien, and it releases the lien from the property. We've never done that. I don't think we've ever had to, but having that in my back pocket takes all of his weapons away, right? So Jared says, well, I'm going to put a lien on your property. And I say, no problem. You can do that. I will bond out of the lien as soon as you do that. So it releases my client from anything. And we'll go to court. I've got all of these documents, and we're going to go to court over that $3,000. So I'll tell you what we can do. I will pay you $500 today to come in and never walk into our office or job sites again.
Because honestly, the $500 is what it would cost me to get my attorney to
go
do
through beyond that. So I will pay you $500 today. Come by the office. I'll have a check ready for you. I need you to sign a release paperwork saying that you're paid in full for the job and stating that you're not going to come to any of our job sites again. And I will pay you that money to walk away from this. Or you can put a lien on it. I've got all this documentation showing the damage that you caused to me and my client. Put a lien on the property. I will get my lawyer. We will fight it, and you will see $0 out of that. I will bond out of it immediately. You can't hurt me with a lien. Right. But I will definitely win. So do you want $500 today or a headache and no money tomorrow?
Well, and that's check with your own individual insurance agents, because that's where we found out about it. Yeah. We had an issue. We had a problem. We called our insurance agent, and she actually said, this is something that you can do. So check and see what that looks like, what the process is. But the good thing about that is, it's not fair to your client, because your client didn't have, your homeowner, your investor, whoever it is, it's not fair that there's a lien on them for somebody they don't even know. That could stop the sale of their property or whatever it is. So that makes there's an ability for you to clear that up, not harm or cause any issues with your client, and then you can deal with the stuff on the side. If it went down that far and had to go, most of the time when you have this conversation with the subcontractor, they're like, whatever, it's not worth the headache. I'm never working with you guys again. Okay, I hate that, but let's just.
Or the sub says, I'd rather have $500 today than have to deal with
go
this.
Through the hassle. That's
I mean, I think we've had 2 liens ever placed from a sub, and both were subs that our subs hired, and that's a whole nother story, and that's part of our agreement where you don't allow that. But this has worked for us time and time again. Not that we've had a ton of times, but every single time that we've had a bad exit with the sub, we pay them $500 to go away, and it saves us weeks. It saves us thousands. It saves us headache. We get it in writing. It saves us face with our client, and we have this conversation. Now, none of this can be possible if you don't document the day that you're letting them go before talking to them.
Turn on your lawyer brain and get all the information.
If you don't have that to threaten them with a lawsuit and saying we'll defend the lien and we'll win, you have nothing to win with, right? And so if I send them all that the paperwork and the pictures, and say, this is what I'll take to the lawyer, and this is how we do this, and this is how we will win in court, go ahead and place the lien. I'd rather not deal with it and just pay you the $500. And that usually works. So that's how we exit with them. Hopefully it doesn't get there. If you're running a company for a number of years, it will get there at some point with someone who's crazy. So that's our main with subcontractors. And what else, Jared? What have we not covered about subcontractors?
I really think, that covers a large majority of it. I think the big picture is they're subcontractors. We need subcontractors to be able to have our company function correctly. And we want them to be long-term with us. And the overarching picture is setting up structure and guidelines and treating people with respect, putting people first, and looking out for the people that are a part of our organization. I think if you take anything away from it, create the structure from a software. You can get our software, small plug. Create a structure with a software, an agreement that is upfront, and then treat people right. Treat people well.
Boundaries where you can't get taken advantage of, but where they can't get taken advantage of either. Very healthy work environment.
That's right. And honestly, most people are going, hey, come to my job site. I'm going to pay you fairly if you do good work and show up on time.
Yep.
That's the extent of it. And they just show up on site, and the good work is relative, and the pay is whenever they get it. And there's not a lot of people offering this type of structure and balance that is appealing to a subcontractor when they've been burned by people. So it's a great technique to be able, in a very difficult environment now, to get subcontractors. This is a great process that really helps land solid subcontractors.
Can I give one bonus thing that has nothing to do with what we talked about today?
Yeah.
Never pay subs hourly or daily.
Never
pay subs hourly or daily. We've learned this the hard way. We've been with many contractors that we coach that do that and have changed and converted over. Every sub has a work order for this amount of money for this amount of work. You get it. It's a 5 days that I estimate worth of work. I'm going to pay you $3,000 for it. If you get it done in 1 day, you made $3,000 in 1 day. If it takes you 20 days, you made $3,000 in 20 days. It self-motivates them. Never pay them hourly or daily. If you want to hear more about that, let me know. Send me an email.
It puts the ability for the subcontractor to make more money on them.
Yep.
Not, I'll just waste time and make more money because I can.
Well, you got a second job. I got to babysit you. Make sure you didn't take lunch. Make sure you didn't go off. Or,
that's a good point.
Yeah. That's a one thing that we haven't talked about in any of these.
Maybe we'll create a video and podcast about that.
Subcontractors round 2 in a couple months. So, anyways, we love to talk to you more about these things. The subcontractor maintenance. We do that in our quarterly sessions where we'll have you can come into Atlanta, and we're going to other cities as well. To learn the training of how we deal with subs, how we deal with homeowners, the 10 steps of project management,
walking
our core
through
values,
all the information that's on the subcontractor agreement in depth,
how to do that. And so we will sit with you and do that personally. It's not expensive. This isn't like a coaching that's $2,000 a month to come to these things. It's super cheap when you're with our software. It's at like $250 a month above and beyond the cost of software.
Yep.
And so you get the software, you pay, you do a full alliance partnership. It's like $250 extra bucks a month. You come to a retreat, that's a $5,000 cost of the retreat. It's free for you. Yep. You come to all these trainings. There's a lot of stuff that's included.
It's a lot
in
of
that.
value. A
lot of paperwork and that sort of thing. It's like getting seeing behind the scenes of a large company that's done it and how we've done it right, and take it and learn and implement it into your company.
That's right.
So that's we'd love to see you there. Go to our website, ProServeAlliance.com, to learn more about that. January 17th and 18th is our big end of the year where we plan for 2022. We call it our annual planning retreat. We go to a casino. We have some fun. We do a ton of work. It's a really cool place to connect with other contractors.
The goal is to have everybody that walks out of that know exactly what they need to do day one for the progress and growth of their company for the next year.
Yep, and you got a ton of other contractors from all over the United States there with you, and it's a small group. I mean, we're not talking more than 20 companies that we really allow on this.
People that you can learn with, share experience with, war story over dumb things that happen on site, just to make some connections.
While playing roulette.
That's right.
Afterwards.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys next week.
See ya. Go Braves.